I'm a first-generation American. I strongly believe in the American dream because I'm a product of it. My parents came here in the late 70s, and I went to public schools and managed to graduate from a top university, mainly because of the strength of those institutions. However, we have a huge problem ahead of us. In the Bay Area where I live, 10% of people live under the federal poverty line, which is $23,500 a year for a family of 4. And it's pretty unfathomable to understand, what life is like at that income. A large number of Americans, 1 in 6 Americans, lives under that line. So there's a huge discussion going on right now in Silicon Valley about inequality. I'm less concerned about inequality and more concerned about the number of people that are falling below this baseline and what we can do about it and how we can support them with our institutions. About 6.5 years ago, I started a nonprofit, then called SamaSource, now called Sama, that connects very low-income people to work over the internet. So we've moved about 6,700 people out of poverty in East Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean through a model that connects them to work for companies like LinkedIn, Google, and Microsoft. So we kind of turned the outsourcing model on its head and hired people from slums and rural areas to do work for these big companies. And on average, they quadruple their income from about $800 a year to $3,300 a year, and they tend to stay there after 3 years, which is the most data we have. That inspired us to start a version of this program in the US called Sama School that trains low-income Americans. We started in California. We have now 5 sites in California, 1 in Arkansas, and we're about to open up in New York City. We train very low-income Americans making below the federal poverty line how to take advantage of all of these new websites and how to take advantage of the internet economy. It surprises me still, living in the Bay Area, that a large number of Americans don't have internet access at home. In East Palo Alto, our facility there is a mile away from the giant, beautiful Facebook campus. And a quarter of our incoming students there did not have internet access at home or on a smartphone when they joined our program. And that's a mile away from the epicenter of technology in America. So if you go to a place like rural Arkansas, where we also work, that number is much, much higher. And what that means is that it's not enough just to build platforms that can boost people's skills. One has to make sure that those platforms are made relevant and accessible to the communities that need them most. So one of the ways we do that is we partner with local institutions like community colleges. We have a strong partnership with the community college in Merced, California, in the Central Valley, which has been really hard hit by the drought. And those community colleges take our curriculum and make sure that students have access to it. Some have actually accredited the curriculum, others advertise to their students, and we use their computer centers after hours so that people can do this training. And we found something really interesting. We found that after a 10-week boot camp, our program is about 80 hours, and it's really styled to be a basic introduction to the world of online work. So our students learn everything from how to put up a profile on LinkedIn, and importantly, what keywords to use and how to use proper business English when they're putting up that profile, all the way to setting up profiles on sites like TaskRabbit, Care.com, and all of these new service marketplaces that allow people to harness existing skills to earn money right now. And the highest level of skills training we offer is for a site called Upwork, which some of you might have heard of. It's the result of a combination of Elance and Odesk, the 2 biggest marketplaces for online work. And that one site has paid out $1.7 billion to online contractors since its inception. And that site allows anyone who has an internet connection to do work for anyone else. So you can do data entry, you can be a virtual assistant. We have a mother of 3 who's a single mom in Merced who makes her money as a virtual assistant for a company in New York. But what's really interesting is that prior to us coming in and showing people these online marketplaces, they had no idea that they might have pre-existing skills that were relevant. And so our view is that that's one of the biggest challenges. It's not enough to provide the curriculum. It's not enough to put it out there. We have to take the effort to make sure that these programs actually reach the people who need them most.